Okay, we had a slight discrepancy when we prepared the fire contracts for Willowvale and the Village of Hartford. There were some expenditures that were included within the tax rate, okay? And when the contract was put together, those additional expenses above and beyond the contract got grouped with the contract amount, so the contract was awarded bigger than what it should have been, so we need to change that. Both Willowvale and the Village of Hartford have been notified, Dan sent a letter out to them. However, I will need a motion to change this. Do we know what it came from, Dan, on these? Because I got the new contracts, but I don't know what the old contract amounts were.
Yeah. For the village, the contract, the incorrect amount was $678,872, and it should have been $637,359.
Okay. So can we have a motion to amend this contract?
Is that a reduction from last year?
No, it's the same amount as last year. This amount is the same amount as last year.
Well, I don't know, for Willowville, the budget and the said 318. Did they get 318 plus the difference that?
Well,
That's-
with Willowvale, it included the amount that we are going to have to be incurring to cover workers' comp. So, the contract amount was $295,000 for 2016, in order to keep the tax rate the same.
But the budget said 318.
That's the overall budget, which includes that
Workers'
22,
comp.
the workers' comp.
So we take the 318 minus the 22, you get the
295.
So when the contracts were put together, they were put,
They included those amounts. They were just typed in incorrectly, and nobody really caught it.
And what was, I'm sorry.
Well, the previous years were like 315, 315 and so forth, but they didn't have the workers' comp.
I was under the impression that that included the workers' comp. This year we carved it out because we're going to be paying them.
That's where they're having an issue with that, because that's not been the procedure in the past. So.
It's a cost to us. My feeling is we pass it through to the district, but
And I just think it puts probably both departments in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure
well,
that,
not both departments, because
there's a different issue.
Because New Hartford's different. See, the two villages
That's right.
pay their own workers' comp. That's what makes Willowville different, because we've got to pick up that cost along with other costs that we don't pick up with the two villages. Now, the situation with the village in New Hartford was, when we had the refund on the one certiorari for Sangertown last year, because that tax portion was out of that fire district, okay? The rate went up just a hair to pick up that portion of the refund. So that became an expense for that district, and it got added to the contract amount when we first did the contracts, and it shouldn't, because that portion went to pay off the bond, the note.
So the total amount remained the same from 15?
For the village.
Right.
Right. Because there was an additional amount charged for the certiorari.
So,
Let's do New Hartford, and then we'll go back.
sure.
Do I have a motion to amend the New Hartford contract?
You mentioned that the village had received a letter and they understand it and they're in agreement, or are they?
Well, they got a letter. You know, what I wanted to do is have this passed by the board and then present it to them. They've been notified.
Yeah, and do they agree?
Well, there's really nothing to agree on. I mean, it was put in the budget. Unfortunately, the contract was put in at the wrong amount. they shouldn't have gotten a raise in their contract.
I guess that's my question. There is no raise, and it's the same as last year. And I keep saying that, but
Well, because it should have been the same as last year, but we actually gave them more because the portion that was
So now
supposed to
you're
go for a
subtracting.
band. So now we're gonna subtract it,
Bring
once
it
we
even with
subtract
last
it,
year.
it'll be the same as last year.
okay.
So I have a motion to amend the village contract,
I'll make a motion.
second? Second by Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now, Louisville, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I just think that if the budget was for 318, and they've been getting for the previous years 315 and so forth, that now that's 295. I mean, not to say that everything's guaranteed, but I think that's a big hit for a department like that, so.
We would have had to increase the tax rate in order to keep it at the 318. You know, just so you know that. So we've been incurring this workers' comp cost, so now we're saying, in order, we're keeping the tax rate the same.
Which is a 389.
Total 389, which includes the service awards. So the tax rate stayed the same, but, the contract amount had to decrease in order for us to pass along that workers' comp costs that we were incurring.
I mean, it's up to the board what they wanna do, but the thing of it is that we've been having continuous increases because, again, they being an independent fire company, unlike the villages, we've had significant increases in the awards program out there. I mean, what started out to be maybe a $30,000 a year, I don't know, it was up to 65 last year.
71.
71, and we don't even know what it'll be this coming year. So, I mean, every year we're getting hit with this thing and we're keeping the contract the same. I mean, it's up to the board, but I mean, at some point, we're either gonna have to raise the taxes out there, the tax rate, which is already $2 higher than what every other fire district is. $2 a thousand more, or we gotta start charging it off. I mean, I leave it to the board, but it's up to you guys. But I just wanted to inform you of the rising costs we have in that district.
Any other solutions or thoughts?
You talked to,
Well, they reached out to me because I didn't know, Gary reached out to me because I didn't know that they received a letter. So,
Councilman, I need to have your signatures on those for the Hartford Fire Pension.
just a big hat.
unless we pick it up this year and advise them next year, they've got to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I don't know, that's what I was thinking.
If we do that, what happens?
If we
Keep it the same.
for this
If we
year.
do that, then what we would have to do is we would loan money to that district, and next year, the tax rate would have to go up to pick up the difference. Because you'd have a deficit of $20,000 sitting in that fund. And if in fact you're going to do that for next year, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with $40,000 for that 1 year, which, unless you want to spread it over a few years, which you can do, run a deficit for a few years. But if you plan on charging it to them, then you're going to have a real big increase out there in that tax rate. Okay, because now you're going to have 40,000 in 1 year instead of 20,000.
I think we've handled the Hartford one. Do we want to make sure Louisville's on board with that first?
They've talked to Jim, I don't know, whatever he is out there, Vinnie Gilroy has talked with Dan, they know what it's all about. Now, when you say, are they on board? I mean, When you're asking, you know, unfortunately, when you're asking money back, who's on board, you know, but I mean.
What was
As
that?
to how we're gonna handle it,
Uh-huh.
how we want to handle it.
Right. I mean,
Well, like you said, I mean, that might be, I don't know if that's what Rich brought up, but if we did it this year, next year, they know what it's gonna be. We did it this year. Nobody had any notice, we're halfway in the year.
Yeah.
You know? Dave and I were talking, we're halfway through the year, it's 22,600, I mean, is there any way that we do for this year, and next year, that they know what it's gonna be, without raising taxes and so forth?
well, no,
That's what Rich was
I mean, you
saying.
gotta raise taxes.
Well, it's gonna be a deficit, we just.
Well, it's a deficit, and like I was mentioning to Rich, maybe you didn't hear me, I mean, you could stretch that out, you know, run a deficit for a few years and stretch it out so they don't get hit all in 1 year. But it's gotta be picked up someplace, you know, at some point. You can't,
They're gonna pay it, it's just maybe how they're gonna pay it.
you know,
Well, if I'm reading you right, you're saying we pick it up this year, and then next year they pick it up,
Right,
yeah, going forward.
right.
But if we pick it up, then we're actually hitting everybody else in the other districts twice then, right? Because they're, well, I mean, the money's coming out of budget, but the other districts are already paying.
No. No, it doesn't affect the other districts.
I guess I'm not saying that
It would
right.
have to
They're
come
still
out of
paying,
general-
it's
it would
coming
have
out
to
of
come
general,
out-
right, so it's still coming out of
Yeah.
everybody then
Yeah.
for that district, right?
That's what I would say to do.
And we've been paying it,
Yeah.
and because of increased cost, it's kind of bubbled to the top, am I right?
yeah.
We've
I
been
mean,
paying it, and the costs continue to escalate, and for that reason, it was
Broken up.
detailed out of the budget, detailed in the
You
budget.
know, because it's not only the workers' comp, as you folks know, it's continuously gone up, but it's the safety awards program, whatever it's called. I mean, that's becoming a bigger burden than the workers' comp.
So
And I
maybe-
mean, and that's something that,
Maybe evaluate that as well, going forward, but I think for this purposes, I think town should take it. We've been doing it for quite long and without ample notice to those guys.
Yeah, with the recognition that this is an issue going
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah, absolutely.
and put them on notice.
all right. All right. Counselor, you got anything before we?
Yeah, Pat and I met with an attorney who specializes